It is Zuko, man, and boy, do I have a lot to go over today. So let's just kind of hop straight into it, because this is going to be a lot of tech, and I want to make sure that I'm getting this all, right for you guys right now, so that way, in the future, I don't have to worry about a few things. Hopefully that makes sense. So let's honestly hop straight into it. Let's see what happens. So the first thing that we're going to go over is up block projectiles and overhead mix. So it's probably not a good character to choose it on, but matter of fact, we'll go ahead and do it with Liu Kang here. So we'll just go ahead and do this. The string is normally plus. Alright, but if you, let's see if I can uplock it. So you're gonna let me uplock. Now I can punish it. So this is one of those situations where if you know how to basically run your up blocks, then you can basically like get a max combo punish no matter what you're doing. So you can basically make, no matter what it is, as long as it's an overhead, it's gonna cost them like a max combo punish. So it's one of these situations where if you know like how to, or it's an overhead and you feel like they like using that overhead. For example, let me just show you a better one. Give me 1 second. I'll show you a better one. You can legit start to do what I like to call auto neutral people, because there's legit nothing that they can do. So I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So like, let's take Scorpion for example. Let me make sure I remember what string it is. There we go. Okay. He's got a high overhead, so if you just sit here and duck, and then he either finishes the string or he doesn't finish it, right? Either way it goes. So watch, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So let's say he does, I hate that that's the thing. And then we'll do this. I hate that that's the thing. Okay. Now we'll go ahead and do this. So that way I don't know which one is coming. So like you can legit begin to like auto neutral people. See what I'm saying? Tripping. See what I'm saying? Like you can legit begin to auto neutral this string. Because since he has no pressure from it, if he whiffs it, he's still in recovery. Well, you can get me like that, but if I'm spacing this out, there's nothing he can do, right? So you can legit start to autopilot that string, as you can see, like right there, right? So you basically put him in a situation where you have to finish a string, and if you do, you're getting punished for it. You know what I mean? Now, there's always, counterplay to everything, but it's just one of these situations where if you like know what you're looking for, you can basically always put yourself in a situation where no matter what they're doing, you can always punish it as long as it's an overhead. So with that being said, that basically means that any overhead that you really think about, any pressure overhead, whether it's an overhead that's supposed to mix you or not, you want to make it to where they're scared to throw that overhead, because it's going to end up with them getting a punish. Now, if you're going, let's go ahead and I'll show you the counters to this. So let's say, shoot, let me just reset this. Hold on, yeah, let me just reset this. Give me a sec. Shoot. I'll show you guys one of the things that I'm talking about. Let me just show you, there is counterplay to it, but you're always going to be in a better situation whenever, let's say, you're trading with someone than you would be if you were, let's say, not trading with someone, if that makes sense. I'll just show you what I'm talking about. So, like, let's say I set this AI to block then that. Okay, so right, so I set him to do that, right? If you know you're going against a character that doesn't have a low, for example, Johnny Cage or whatever, they have like conditional lows, like for example something like this, right? And that would have to combo, right? See, it would have to be something like that. But like other than that, like, you know what I mean? Like, you really some characters really don't have lows. So if you know somebody doesn't have a low, then you can honestly just like go free reign with the overheads up blocks, because if they don't have a low to kind of open this up, the only thing that they're going to get is a throw, and then that's pretty much it. Now if you got like someone who does like, you know, like something like that, yeah, you can get maybe like, I don't know, maybe like 2,000. I said 2,000, maybe like 200 something. But other than that, you're really not getting anything from these throws as a character, outside of like maybe, you know, a few characters with their Kung Lao in their throws. But other than that, it's always going to be a trade in your favor if they don't really have lows. Now, if they have a low that doesn't really lead into anything, then that's also going to be something. Now, if they have cameos and all this, you know, kind of take factor into that. But basically, if you know your opponent doesn't have anything to really punish you for the low, then I would literally just like have free reign with up blocking, because it's gonna make them have to throw you, and if they have to throw you, then if they whiff, then you punish them for trying to punish you, kind of deal. So it's always gonna work in your favor. Now, if you have the 3 bars a meter, I will always just do it, because you could just break if you like get caught anyway. Now, there is a way to make it safe, and we'll talk about that as well, but I just wanted to let you guys know that you absolutely can. So let me just go and showcase this with the character that is very, very kind of like getting people caught up for no reason. We'll just we'll talk about him. So I'll use him, and then I'll go with Johnny Cage, because everyone knows that Johnny Cage has a little, well, technically he's supposed to have mix, but I don't really think so. Temple of Kataravala. Alright, so let's see here. Now, Johnny's stuff can all be fuzzyable, so like this is fuzzyable, and we'll go ahead and show that with this. Oh, I hate that that's a thing. Right, and then we'll do this. Cool. So that's fuzzyable. You never should be getting opened up by any of this, because it's all fuzzy guardable, right? So I'm literally letting go of my whatchamacallit, so that way I messed it up, fuzzy there. So the way it works is you're waiting for the very first frame of the low, and then you're gonna go ahead and block for the overhead after that. So it's very, very easy. This is one of the easier fuzzy guards in the game, so it's literally should never take you anything. Now, the way that like up blocking works in this game, so I'll just kind of move him for a second. Hold on, buddy. Chill, relax. Alright. I'll put it like that, and then let's go ahead and turn the frame rate on. Alright, so the way that it works is anytime you're wanting to up block, you have to hold it up, right? So if you just tap it up, sometimes it won't work, but if you hold it up, it just seems like it works better. Now, if you flick it up like that, you have to like, it's kind of like a flawless block at that point, right? But if you hold it up, you see how you hold it up? That makes it to where it becomes extremely, extremely consistent. Now, why is this important? This is important because there's a thing in the game called block sun. So I'll just go ahead and do it here. Boom, boom, boom. See what I mean? Like, I'll do it again. Boom, boom. And I held up just the same way, but as you can see, my character didn't up block. Now, if I do it again the same way I just did it, now I'm up blocking that exact same. So I just fuzzy guarded. Not only did I fuzzy guard it, but I made it safe the up block And I also made it to where if he ever does throw the overhead, then I just get the up block. And I'll show you what happens if you get the up block. Hold on, my fault. Hold on, my fault. Oh, my fault. Hold on, my fault. Let me get it right. Bruh. Okay, apparently I can't freaking. I'll just show the punish without, you know, trying to do the fuzzy. I guess my brain's just tripping right now. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm tired as hell. So you can punish that basically, and you can punish that with really anything. It's like my inputs hurt. That's very weird. That's very, very weird. Anyways. I mean, you can still like punish it just like by doing this anyway. So either way it goes is gonna be punishable. But let's go ahead and showcase it with one that's like this. So hold on. So that one, right? That one's not punishable, and then we'll do right. Now I'll show you what I'm talking about. Same thing, fuzzyable. Let me actually put it on hidden just to show that. I mean, basically the rule for fuzzy is this. All right, so. Wrong character, hold on. So the rule for fuzzing is this, right? So if this is 24 and the other thing is 3 less or above, it's gonna be fuzzy guardable. It's just gonna be really hard. Now if it's 4, it's gonna be an easier fuzzy guard, and the bigger that gap is, the much easier it's gonna be the fuzzy guard. So this is 16, so anything 19 frames or above is fuzzy guardable in this game. So this is 24 and this is 16, so that means you have legit like 4 and then 4, so you have 8 frames to fuzzy guard without getting opened up. So basically what this means is this should never really catch you open. Now I haven't been able to really feel, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really been able to feel a exact timing that you would need in order to be able to like know how many frames you need in between something to always flawless block. But all I know is that, for example, he's going to do that. I got open. Okay, and as you can see, I'm holding up. Do it again. Right there, and then I'll show you this one now. Okay, apparently it's not working. I'm tripping. Dude, there's all kind of weird stuff going on right now. Anyways, okay. And that's the same time that I'm using for right there, right? So I'll just put this on random, and then that way you guys can see that it's like not like a placebo or anything like that. We'll just put it on random hidden. All right. I messed it up right there. Mess it up. I mean, this overhead is reactable, by the way. Like, you can legit like react to that and then just, you know, like okay, that's an overhead, you know, and then you can react to that as well. But there's really no need. You can just fuzzy guard it. I swear to God, it's like anytime you record, I literally was just doing this so consistently. It's just, I don't know, bro. Anyways, so you have this option here, basically, and you can basically like try to up block, and it doesn't cost you anything. I don't know why it's not up blocking right now, but I mean, it is what it is. If I do it like that, then it is. But like you can like basically the concept is that you can basically, in the time frame that you're still stuck in block stun, you can input in an up block there, and if you do that, if you do that, you're going to be able to up block and still fuzzy guard everything, so that way you don't get opened up for up blocking, and then you don't have to worry about getting combo punished for it as well. It's really not this hard. It's just, I guess I'm too tired for it. I don't know. It is 1 o'clock in the morning, but anyway, actually 2:30. But that is the concept. You can do it. Yeah. So it works with a lot of situations. I'd highly recommend trying it and then using it in your sets and whatnot, because it's one of these things where the more you kind of get better with it, the easier it's gonna be for you to kind of like do it. Hold on, it's the same one. I'm tripping. Okay, cool. Is he not doing the other one? Is it still on random hitting? It is. That's very weird. There you go. See, this is the one that's very consistent, so that's proof that it does work. As you can see, like, my timing stayed the same, so you can do it. There might be some more frame data that I need to like check to see how much frames you need in order to be able to up block something, but we'll talk about it in a bit as well, a little bit more in depth. But basically, just know that anytime there's an overhead, if you want to up block it, you absolutely can. And if there's enough, like, if you try to input it while you're in block stun, the game won't register the up block because you're still in block stun, because they continue to string. And that's pretty much what's going on. Now, if they stagger it, you're going to get caught, but I'll just go ahead and show that as well. So I'll just show you what it'll be like if they staggered it. So I hate that this is a thing, dude. That needs to get changed. And okay, so I'll do this. So I'll do bing, 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 something like that. And then that'll be the one that we'll use. And then, hold on, whatever. Bing, bing. Let's see if I can open up there. And then we're gonna go ahead and make this toggled on. And then we're just gonna go ahead and just put it on random hidden. Cool. See it. So as you can see, like, I'm not getting opened up. It's more like a So yeah, as you can see, like, it's not something that I'm just doing a little bit late because my brain lagging, but like, as you can see, like, it's something that, like, even if you're in block stun, you just won't get caught because the game is registering. Basically, I'll explain it in a much more simpler way as well. So basically what's going on, let me just put him on this. We'll put him on all block. So look at, whenever I hit him, you see how his hands like lock up right there? Any input that you do in this process where so you see how Johnny Cage's hands like lock up or whatever, any input that he does in that time frame, it's gonna get negated because it's not gonna register that input because he's in block stun. Now the moment he's not in block stun, it's going to allow for him to do, or anything that allows for him to cancel that block stun, he's gonna be able to do it. So for example, if I do this and I had an overhead right after that, he'll be able to up block the overhead. But if I just stop and I do it, because he's in block stun, he's inputting that, it's not going to make that happen. Like, this has been in the game, it's called input buffering, or just knowing whenever to put in buttons, and the game will kind of ignore them. And this has always been, like, you know, in the game for like every MK ever. This is just option selects for you. So that's up block. I would go deeper into it, but I honestly have a lot to cover, so honestly just fool around with that and you'll see what you can do with it. But just know that you can basically make anything that is an overhead extremely minus, and you can punish it all with your normals. And if you have a much further reaching normal, you can do it with that as well. You can even do it sometimes with your big like combo damage dealers and start your combo off with that for punishing. So there's all kind of stuff that you can do with Upblock. It's not being used enough, but it really does need to be taken note of. And there's really not like a super hard counter to it, because they have to make the hard read. And the best way to punish up blocking is to actually sit there and like throw punish, because that's the most effective way to punish it. Because if you like, let's say you jump in and you know, let's say okay, I'll just go ahead and do a showcase here again. We'll just do this, and then let's say he does this, right? And then let's say he does this. Hold on, my fault. He doesn't have a low, but let's just say that that was a low. So shoot, I'm gonna need for him to have a low though. Freak. Hold on, I'll just do it the other way. Hold on, give me a second. Give me a second. Okay, so let's say, hold on, let me get this right. So let's say he did this, right? And then let's say this one did. Bro, that is so annoying. Alright, so let's say that's what happened, right? So now I gotta set up. So you see what I'm saying? Like, you can't really punish someone for going for a block, because you're gonna get it either way, right? And then you'll still be able to block low by the time they try to, you know what I mean? So like, the only way to really like punish this is by actually doing a throw. So I'll just go ahead and showcase that as well. Hold on. That was a bad one. Hold on. I was bowing as well. There we go. See what I'm saying? Other than that, like, you're really not going to get opened up except through a throw punish. So again, there's really no downside to doing this, because you can still block low for pretty much everything. Like, people are not going to really like, I mean, if you do it late like that, but that's the thing about up blocking is you can literally time it really early like that. You see how early I'm timing it? And you look at my inputs on the look at my inputs over here, and look at how early I'm timing that. And I'm not getting a throw punish on these, but I'm hoping that he'll actually do the kick, so that way you can see that this is still going to up block the kick. Now there is a 1 frame link timing that I have found that works for the throw not being able to be like, basically you do like something like this, like that, but it's very tight and it's not consistent at all. But there is a 1 frame link timing for that. Okay, this is getting ridiculous. Like, dude, do the other freaking options, man. Jesus Christ. Whatever. Anyways, there is a 1 frame link timing to where you can like up block, duck, then block again, so that way you don't get hit with a low, you don't get hit with the throw, and you up block. So either way it goes, you're gonna like option select it all. But that timing is very tight, but just know you can do that as well. I tested that by the frame, and that took me a long time to get, but that is something that you can do. So I would just highly recommend that you do that, and you get that figured out, because if you do, then that's going to be absolutely beautiful. So yeah, let's talk about another thing. So let's see, let me just grab a few more characters. This one's kind of like not really niche, but it's more like a high meta thing that people aren't using enough. But once people really like kind of like see what's going on, it's going to become more and more effective. Now you're still going to take the damage, so it's like a trade, but at least like you're going to be able to like negate like the hit reaction. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So let's say you have a Liu Kang who's zoning you, and he's like, hey, I'm about to zone you, right? You throw a cameo out, and then he hits that, and then you basically, you don't have to worry about the hit, and then you punish him for like being stupid, right? So hopefully you get what I mean when I say that. Like, again, so let's say I'm out here. I throw this out. I'm not blocking until he gets hit. So after the cameo gets hit, he eats the hit for me, and then I can just like punish after that, right? See what I'm saying? So like whenever I mean that, like, so let's say I'm out here and I'm like, oh shoot, I can't react to that. Put something out there. Let them get hit, then you go ahead and you react to it. Then, like for example, right there, and you can do it like immediately. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, watch, I'll show you one more time. Well, it works better with summons. Hold on, let's see. I should have chose a different cameo, bruh. Who's a good summons character that kind of does that? Yeah, I know one. I'll go ahead and do Cyrax, and then yeah, cool. All right, I know this is all over the place, but I mean, it is what it is. Hope you guys are enjoying it so far. So again, you have Liu Kang. He's like doing his thing. Throw that out there, right? You can literally react to that, right? Literally be like, I think he's about to do it just to be safe, right? I think he's about to do it, and then punish him. So this is one of those things where like the better that you like kind of get with game knowledge, you can just start using your cameos as a way to kind of like eat a hit. So that way you don't have to take the hit and you can still block. And if they're doing something that's very punishable on block, then it kind of makes it to where you take that part of their kit out of their game. And that's just very, very good. Now that can go extremely as far as like a human mind or the competitive scene wants to take that. Using cameos is basically like armor pretty much. Because that's honestly what this is doing. It's just using the cameo as armor. You're still going to take the damage, but at least you get like a situation where you're not like in hit stun from it, or you can like punish something because of it. And the better people get with that, I'm pretty sure that's going to become like a really big meta part of this game. It's basically just using the cameo to tank a hit or a projectile, so that way you can punish or whatever. So that's very, very cool. Now let's get talking about a little bit more of the let's just call it the more like hard to do stuff, but if you master it, you're going to become like very, very, very solid at this game. So I'll just show you guys what I'm talking about. So this tech is called basically like throw, duck, block, hole, buffer into buttons. I'm gonna show you what it looks like, but before I show you that one, let me just show you the basic one, which is just like, here's how you basically like make it to where people, and we're about to go into levels, so I'm gonna need you guys to strap in and then just kind of, you know, rock with me here. So I'll just do this. Cool. It should be at the first possible frame. We'll just make sure that it is by, you know, doing this and that, and we'll just make sure that should punish. All right, cool. That's coming out the first frame. Cool. So here's what's going on. So anytime you're playing the game, if you ever watch like a pro player play or anything like that, they're oftentimes doing a lot of like you, if you see them just blocking like this, or they're moving, sometimes they'll dash, sometimes they won't, sometimes they'll just move forward and just like block a little bit. These little blocks that they're doing are not like by accident. What they're doing is they're literally trying to like put a block in just in case someone does throw a button right there, or someone does throw like a very fast projectile that they don't want to react to. It just makes it to where they're very safe, to where they don't have to worry about stuff, right? That's what these blocks are for. Yes, you can use this to interrupt dashes, but if you ever see someone like doing this, they're basically just trying to make sure that they don't get hit while they're moving backwards, right? That's really what that is, right? That's really what that is. So why do people do that? It's because blocks like allow for you to simply block in the game. Now basically you take that same kind of game plan, but you pull it up in like a rush down format, which is what I'm about to show you guys, and then you really get to do something that not too many people can kind of do. So we're going to break it down into levels, and I'm going to show you like how it's effective on a newbiest level and then on the highest level. And it's going to require a lot of input buffering, but once you get the timing of it down, you're really going to be able to be god tier at the game. So the first thing I'm going to show you is, so let's say you have this string. Let's do this one. It's -6, right? So this string is -6 on block. As you can see on the left side, right? This is +3, right? If I do the second part, it's -6. So that kind of lets you know what I'm talking about right there, right? But because of how this game works, you're leading this into this button, right, which is also -6, and then you can lead that into this, right, which is also like a bunch of other buttons. So what this means is if you just stop your string right here, they have to make a read that you're stopping your stagger right there. That's kind of obvious, right? But if you go into your second one, then they have to make the read that you're gonna stop right there, and then they have to poke after that as well. All that this means is that no human is going to poke at the earliest possible frame unless they're making a read, because it just doesn't make sense. Unless it's like one of those staggers that's really, really bad, like as far as the animation is just not clean or whatever. Because you know what I mean. You guys know what I'm talking about. Basically, it's like the first possible frame where you can duck as the opponent or as the attacker. If it's just one of those weird ones, then you can be like +5 and you feel like you're +1. And we'll talk about frame abusing in a bit. But basically what's going on here is anytime you're doing a string, this is what you kind of want to do right here. So it's like, since you know that humans are like respecting this, right, they're probably going to delay a little bit, and they're going to have to wait until like they see that this is a stagger before they actually go ahead and actually block something, right? So if that makes sense, then basically what I'm trying to say is, because humans have to like wait, or humans are somewhat safe, they don't really like to preemptively do anything because it's a risk. We'll talk about why just randomly poking on the first frame is such a risk, and it's not high level at all. You don't want to do that. You kind of want to play patient and, you know, be smart with your button presses. You don't want to mash. The reason why is because anytime you get staggered like something like that, so let's say you thought it was going to be this and you poked and then it's this, and then now you get opened up because you got this whole string. He's like, that's more than enough time for him to hit confirm. So you're not going to want to, you're not going to want to, you know, press right there. But let's say you do. Okay, if I block at the earliest possible frame where I know you have to do it in order for my button to, you know, let's see here. Right, so if I'm sitting here blocking this and I know what time this button has to come out, right? If I know what time this button has to come out, then all I gotta do is just tap block and then go back into my string. Because if you're not gonna do like it at the earliest frame, then I really don't have to respect your frames, because the more that you're waiting here, like waiting to see if it's a 2-1, or I mean a 2-4, or if it's a 2-4-2, all that time that you're spending waiting is time where I'm not negative anymore, and this button, this 8-frame button, is going to come out faster. So you got to look at the game like it's actually like time and not just frame data, because frame data can lie to you a little bit. Not lie, but it's just not as important as people are making it out to be. So what I mean by that is, let me go ahead and change the timer. So we all know that, again, this right here, he should be able to poke before I can poke mine, because this is -6, so he's always going to get his poke out before me. Now if I do this, he's still going to always be able to get his poke out before me. So let's say he's getting mixed now and he doesn't know which one's going to come out. So let's go ahead and put it at a time where a human was. So let's say they're like, oh shoot, then they poke, right? So let's see here. Oh, I'm tripping. Let's do it like that. There we go. Right, this is what most humans will do, right? Right, that's what they're gonna do right there, something like that. Now let's make that, let's say if they're a much faster reaction person, let's say they'll, and then hold on, let me do that right a little bit better. Boom, let's say they're gonna do something like that, right? So hold on, they're going to do something like that, right? So they're going to be like, okay, that's a stagger, but they're still going to get opened up. So this is just a really good stagger, right? It's very, very cool. It's very cheap, whatever, right? That's about the time where someone's going to poke, right? About the time. Now, someone could be a little bit faster, but let's just use that as the example because it's a concept thing. So because of that, this means that I'm going to just quickly block, and then I'm going to go back into my stuff again, because if you don't poke at the earliest frame, I have nothing to worry about. So what I'm doing is I'm literally doing 2-4, block, 2-4, right? So 2-4, block, 2-4, 2-4, block, 2-4. Now, again, if you sit there and you actually do press right there, I'm going to just block it anyway, But if you don't press your poke right there, then I'm just going to be plus anyway, because you're respecting my next stagger, and that makes you negative. Now, even though this is a stagger, so this is very, very easy stuff to kind of like, you know, but like that's the whole point of this, is just to like, so I'm gonna block and then I'm gonna go into my stuff again, right? You can even do like that, right? I'm literally flying too fast. Let me just slow it down. So hopefully you guys get what I mean by that. Since humans like respect this, right? Since they respect this, this opens up you doing stuff like this, where you just block and you just keep doing this over and over again, and you just block once in that frame where you know it's going to be a flawless block or whatever, and then you know that nothing else is going to be scary, because they have to press at the earliest possible frame. And if you're forcing people to press at the earliest possible frame, you won the game, and I'll show you why in a second. But if you start incorporating this into your gameplay, very, very simple stuff, just simply do a stagger, plus press block, and then go back into your buttons, or do that, right? Or do this, block, then go, you know what I mean? Like just block and then do it. If you start adding that in, it's going to make it very, very, very hard for people to open you up. So that's what I call block RT, you know, or buttons block buttons, pretty much. That's really what it is, buttons block buttons. Now let's talk about the input buffer. So this is really important, because we're going to basically take what I'm saying right now to a whole nother level. Okay, so let's say you're going to get someone who realizes that you're doing this, and then they're like, okay, well, the moment that I see this come out, I'm gonna just preemptively go for a throw like that, right? So let me just go ahead and make him kind of do this. Let's see here, how am I gonna do this? All right, so so for reversal, that's what I'll do. I'll do it for a reversal like that. Cool, we'll do that. Let's see if that works. So wing wing. Okay, cool. So let's say they're like, okay, well, the moment that I realize that he's about to end a stagger or whatever, or let's say they're guessing or whatever it may be, because throws do have throw counters, which means if you press a button while it's like kind of in the process, it'll beat your button or whatever. There's a reason why they did that, and I'll talk about that as well. But so let's say they're playing that game, right? You can literally do like that. So what I just did was I did my 1-2 in this case. I ducked and then I pressed RT. Now again, since it is a throw and a whiff, then that means you can legit do this. Hold on, let me show you. Hold on 1 second. And you can punish. Now let me see if I can get it perfect here. There we go. Cool. So I want you to pay attention to my inputs right now. Now, again, this is not something that's easy to do. It's going to take a while for you to master, but it's really, really important to do it, or at least have it in your arsenal. So look at my inputs right now. So I did my first stagger, which was the 1-2. Look at the left side of the screen. I did 1-2, and then I ducked down because I didn't want to get thrown by him trying to preemptively throw me at the earliest possible frame. I press my RT right after that. I input buffered the two basically to the point to where I wouldn't get opened up by a mid either. Now here's where it's really, really important. Now this is just the basic level. So let's say, you know, they tried to throw you right there. If you just do the little duck before the RT, nothing's gonna open you up. Let's say even if they poked you right there, matter of fact, I'll go ahead and do that as well with this too. So we have the get up reversal. I won't be able to do it. Let's see, I'll do it like this. So yep, boom, cool. Let's see, this would be much easier if I just had my homie. I was showing him all this stuff anyway, but let's just say I do it like this, right? So I just did the same inputs, right? So again, it's gonna be hard to showcase this, but this does work. If you have a homie, then like, I wish I had my homie, because I was literally doing all this with him not too long ago. But the point of this is that like you can basically get in here and you can kind of like take away certain options. Now again, I'll do it one more time. So again, look at my inputs. So I ducked to make sure I didn't get thrown. I blocked to make sure I didn't get opened up with a mid or a low or something like that. And I low blocked because the down that I ducked with, so I'm still holding down. The moment you see the down on my screen on the left side, I'm still holding down. Like I never let go of down, because if I did let go of down, like it would have like registered or something like that. I'm still holding down while I did this, and then I press RT, so that way I didn't open up by a mid, and then I press my 1-2 again, so that way I can like try to punish his throw for him trying to throw me right there. Now here's what I want you to mean when I say there's like levels to it. So if you want to just do it the simple way, you can just do 1-2 block 1-2. You're gonna get opened up by throws. If you do 1-2 duck buffered into block into your 1-2 again, you're not gonna get opened up by throws. But then they're just gonna start throwing meaties right there preemptively, and if they do that, then you're gonna have a problem. But let me again, this is what I mean when I said there's levels to it. In the high level format, if you do 1-2 duck input buffer into a block really quickly, basically, then you can duck the throw, you can block the mid, and let's say they just do like one button, so let's say a poke or something like that. As you can see, like I was flawless blocking the poke with this exact same timing. Now let's say they do a mid string at that point, because you thinking that's just going to be one button and you're trying to go back into your 1-2, you're going to get opened up, because if they do a second button that's a mid or whatever, now you got shimmied basically, because you thought that it was only going to be one button and it wound up being a whole string. They basically took their turn back with a whole string and not just a poke. If that happens, you just got opened up, you're going to get blown up for it. But here's another level to it, which is the same inputs I'm doing. I did 1-2, I pressed my down on my for the duck to make sure I don't get hit with the throw. I held my RT, and then I pressed 1-2. So let me show you one more time. So I did 1-2, and I'm holding RT, as you can see. Now as you can see, my 1-2 was input, but it didn't come out. You gotta master that input timing. So like that. Hold on, I messed that up a little bit. I input it in. So basically, I wish I could show you guys this with a friend to show you that this is something that's very accurate. But again, you play this with your friends and try this out, you're going to realize that this is a thing that happens. You can press your trigger, your right trigger, and input in like a move really quickly, and the move will only come out if you're not in block stun. So what this means is, if he actually followed up with a string, so I actually go ahead and do this now. And I'll do my same input. So I'll do, what's a good string? I'll do, I can't do that one because that one's gonna be a high. I'll just do this one. Bing. Cool. All right. So now I'm gonna do this. See what I'm saying? So if he didn't do like that, if he just did a poke, I would have blocked the poke and then went back into my turn, right? If he did a throw, the throw would have whiffed. But he did a string. Now look at my inputs. I did 1-2. Again, I ducked to block to make sure the throw would whiff, and I held my RT, and I still inputted in my 1-2. So that way, if he would have just did with a poke, I would have still gone straight into my stuff, and I'm not getting opened up. This is levels on top of levels on top of levels of tech, and if you master this stuff, I promise you, literally people will not know like how you're so good on defense. It's like, why are my staggers not working? Why is this person always plus? Why are they always like seeming like they're in advantage or whatever? This is how the pros are doing, and some of the pros don't even know how to do this, but some of them do. But I'm just letting you guys know, this is tech that literally can completely change how you play, and it's going to change your rush down. And the better you master that timing, and the more you get used of just option selecting stuff like this really what this is just an option select. The more of this that you know, and the better you get input buffering moves with another move, so that way some things get ignored, the better you're going to be at this game, and you won't have to guess as much. You're going to be able to like literally like take away a lot of the skill in defense, and you're just going to be able to autopilot a lot of people. Now that's just, you know, that's what I like to call block RT, block hold. I call that throw duck block hold buffer into buttons. That's kind of what I call that, or block duck block hold buttons. that's pretty much what all that is. Now, this is cool, but you still got to worry about throws, right? So let's say somebody walks up, and this is just very, very simple, but somebody walks up and want to throw you, right? And then let's say, you know, they don't walk up and throw you. They walk up. Hold on. I hate that. They walk up and they hit you with some buttons. This is very, very simple stuff, right? They do it all the time. So let me go ahead and put this on. Let's see. Playback trigger. Random hidden. Right? So you're going to get opened up, right? This is how this game works, right? This is what we call a shimmy. Right? So what do you do in this type of situation tech-wise? How do you get someone to basically like not worry about something, right? So first things first is let me just go ahead and put this on one. I'll just put it on this one. Yeah. Is it gonna do that one? Okay, it's gonna do the other one. So let's just put it on right stick. And we're gonna do the up one. So first things first that you need to know about throws is you can hold block, react to the throw, and let your block go, and then press your button where you think you're gonna do. So like when I mean like throws are completely reactable now, like they're like literally like you can legit like, oh, he touched me, and then do it, right? So like, hold on, let me get my timing right. There we go. Now again, you can also like, again, if you're holding RT like that, it's nothing's gonna happen. So you have to let go of RT. But if you let go of RT, like literally like right at the last second, you can like legit like react to the throw animation, and then be like, oh shoot, that's a throw, and then let go of RT and then tech to throw. So that's always been in the game, just for the people who don't know about throws. Again, if you're trying to take a forward throw, you do Y. If you're trying to take a back throw, you can do X. You can also go ahead and do it like this. Right, so if you do your A, that's going to be for back throws. If you do your B in this case, or your 4, it'll tech your forward throws. So again, your Y and your B, they tech your forward throws. Your X and your A, they tech your back throws. Now, why is this important? Because remember how I just told you that if you sit here and you let go of RT, you can kind of input in, you know, a Y. What's important about this is you got to know what kind of buttons that you have, right? So in this case, I have a forward Y or a forward 2, right? And I know that forward 2 and also my forward 4 are also really good strings, and they lead into pressure. So now I'll go ahead and do this. Hold on. And I just input it in the string, and I tech the throw at the same time. So let's say they're trying to do some sort of delay tech, right? They're trying to be cool, they're trying to be spicy, they're trying to like, you know, they're trying to mix you up, they're trying to shimmy or whatever. Hold on one sec. So let's say they delayed. You're throwing a string now. Now this is, again, there's levels to this. This is you preemptively pressing buttons. So this means that you can get shimmied, or you can just get like whiff punished if they read that you're doing this. So again, take everything with a grain of salt. You don't want it to become one-dimensional. This is just tech for your mind to kind of do. So that way, if you do tech a throw, you're at least getting a string if they don't actually go to throw, or they're being lazy, or their timing is bad. Because this is what this is all about. This is about timing. Everything in this game is about rhythm. If you don't have good rhythm, you know you're gonna get cleaned up, right? So like, see, this is gonna work every time, because again, you know, that's a mid, and that he's timing his throw at the exact same time. But let's say now you have an opponent who's like, he's walking up to you and he's waiting a little bit too long, and then he's doing that, right? So now, and you think it's gonna be right at that timing, right? Now you punish him like that. You get what I'm saying? So it's very, very simple stuff. But let's say, you know, you're same thing. You feel like he's gonna do a forward throw right there. Again, let's say he does it. Hold on, one sec. One sec. One sec. That's tough. Right? So there we go. So same inputs there, but now it's not working, right? So this is what I mean when I say if someone is delaying or they're trying to like make you bite on something or whatever, or you just have a really good freaking button that you know you can throw out and you don't really have to worry about anything, then by all means, please do press that button. And especially if it's a button where you can kind of throw it out and like it's really like, you know, not that, you know, doesn't have that much recovery, you can kind of like get in and out of it or whatever. Or like this button has hella recovery, but this one is kind of like, you know, it kind of goes forward, so it's kind of hard for people to get out of that button. So if you're going to take a forward throw, you might as well just use this, because this is an advancing mid and it moves really far and it kind of goes into whatever. So again, you just kind of have to know your button. Same thing, you know, this one here reaches really far for a very fast button. And then you also have this high here that, you know, doesn't reach very far, but it does, you know, kind of go advancing a little bit. But I feel like that's easy to whiff, you know. But if you're wanting to, you know, let's say text something and then throw something out that's, you know, pretty high or whatever, then by all means use your strings instead of just pressing a random button. Now again, there's levels to it, so if you feel like you're going against a better player, I would just go ahead and preemptively press a button and then go into that like that. So because this is much harder to whiff punish, because, you know, the recovery on this is kind of whatever, right? The recovery on this is really whatever, right? So you can just kind of throw that out whenever you think, and then like, okay, well, you know, it is what it is. But again, if they catch you whiffing, you are going to get punished. But that's what I would say. You just know this is something that you can use, but use it with a grain of salt. But just know that anytime someone is about to throw you, you can let go of RT and react to that throw, and then press your buttons, or you can preemptively press your string buttons. Or if you feel like you know someone's timing, there's no need to open yourself up, or you can simply just duck tech, and then like you can do that as well. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. Right, so again, right there, so let's say again, hold on, right, so you can do that, right? That works as well. So there's all kind of things that you can do in order to make sure that you don't get opened up. And this is just a few of, you know, bits and pieces of the tech here for you. Now again, if you have like, let's say armored move, right, now you're really talking business, because you can actually do this as well. Hold on. That's actually, I just learned that this actually makes throws whiff. So you can actually do this. This is really cheesy because that's armored as well. I just found a way to make like rating can like legit like beat both of those options just by doing that. That's actually kind of cool. I'm gonna have to test if every character kind of has that. But let's see here. I think the RT probably makes it like, there we go. So as you can see, like you can input in even special moves and still be able to tech throws like so. Let's see here. Is there a button? I'd rather do this one. Cool. Let's do this one. So you can even input in special moves and still be able to tech throws with it preemptively. So let's say you have a button that's just really good, or let's say you're using Kung Lao and you're wanting to do your armored, you know, launcher into Goro or whatever. You can do that when you think someone's going to throw you. Either way it goes, you're going to get your armor, you're going to get your launcher, and you're just going to be safe because you just proc Goro. So you shouldn't get opened up by that at all. Now, it also reaches very far, so they're going to have to jump over you type of deal in order to even punish you for doing that. And that's still going to be a rough punish because you move forward while you're doing it. So it's kind of like this. You just kind of auto-neutral, autopilot people because you know that you can like get away with this stuff while you're doing throws. Now again, if you do armor, it is going to be a little bit harder, but just letting you know, if you try to press your RT button, it is going to like kind of mess with that. But just know that that's something that you can do, and the more you kind of use these different options that you have when people are trying to throw you, the better you're going to be at the game. So that's that. Now let's take it a step further, because again, people don't just sit here and poke on the first possible frame. And now we're going to get into a little bit more of the higher level play style, which is, so let's say you Let's go ahead and just put this back to over here. We're going to put this on random. And now we're going to go ahead and do this, right? So I'll go ahead and kind of, I'll just do it myself. So that was a little bit off timing. So that's one. Okay, cool. All right, so let's just make sure he's on timing. Cool. And then punish. Cool. All right, cool. So here's what's going to happen a lot. So this move is plus, right? It's +1, but let's use a move that's negative. So let's use this. It's a little bit too negative. Let's see here. Let's use this. All of his moves are a little bit too negative, bruh, honestly. Let's do this. That's +2. So let me just do this on Liu Kang. I need a character that kind of can showcase this a little bit better, honestly. All right, so make sure this is still on this. Cool. And just by the way, this dude has a very good down poke, a very good. Raiden's down 1 is probably the best in the game. His down 1 is extremely fast and it has very good range. So this is the perfect character to test this on. So like again, this is a button that's -4, and I'll show you that if you max space this, you can get the best poke in the game right there, the best down 1, the fastest one in the game, the whiff, and then you can punish that with that. So let's just showcase it here. You can just like throw it out and then walk out of range, right? Or you can like dash out and then try to punish, right? So like, let's see here. So that's what you can do right there. Now again, hopefully you guys can kind of like understand that I'm making this person literally poke at the earliest possible frame possible to try to punish. So it's looking like it's not effective, but let me show you again. So let's say you're going against a human and they're like, oh shoot, right? So just a little bit delay. I'll show you what just a little bit of delay can do, right? Just that little bit of delay now opens up all of this. Why does that keep happening? There we go. And now you're punishing people for poking you. Or let's say you do it like this. Hold on. I hate that that's keep happening because I'm pressing my RT and it's not doing. But anyways, there we go. And you can punish people for poking you. And again, this is the best down like 1 in the game. Like his down 1 is freaking ridiculous, right? I might just like walk back on that. There we go. As you can see, I'm still able to move myself back, but that string kind of like pulls me forward just a little bit too much. Again, but if you start doing this, basically you can start making people whiff. Then you really kind of like, that's a walk back right there. You can do that if you start max space and stuff. So again, this is where I say like spacing is very important, because like if you like master this stuff, you can like legit like start like not even worrying about like people as players, and then you just kind of like option select everything that they're doing. So like another way to kind of like abuse this is basically like, so let's say again, pokes are very negative, right? Pokes are very negative, but pokes don't really matter how negative they are because it's about the space. So frame data, like this is basically the rule for frame data. Frame data does not matter at all, but what does matter is the space between like you and the player. Frame data does not matter whatsoever. This is what I mean when I say like it's just a number, but everything is moving in real time, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. So like for example, this button here is -6, right? You have a 6 frame button, you're not going to be able to punish. You have to have a 5 frame button, because I mean if it was a special that was 6 frame, then yes, you would be able to punish. But if you have a 6 frame button, you're not going to be able to punish. For some reason that's how it works, but cool, whatever. You would need a button that, I lie, that does work, I'm tripping. You would need a button that allows for you to punish that button within the range that it does. So like anytime you have to move forward or back, that's frame data, because frame data is by the second, or it's by the millisecond, or the frame. Now every single time you move, literally all of these are frames, right? Every last single one of these, if you want to know how many frames it takes, right, basically these are all frames. Every single bit of movement that I'm doing is costing me a frame, right? So anytime you move and you press this button is now not 6 frames. If I just tap and do that, that's now a 7 frame high, not 6 frame. So what does this mean? This basically means that no matter what you do, your movement is affecting your frame data, and their movement is affecting their frame data. So if you have a button that spaces people out like this, or it just moves, it has enough pushback, it doesn't matter what they do, you're going to be able to do it, right? So let's say you do this, you can punish their poke now for them trying to poke you, right? Or you can even go into something like this. This is what Footsies is, right? So, and let's say I get really close in their face, right? I'm dead in his face, and like, you know, like if I try to press right here, notice how you get to counter. But if I just stand still and he whiffs, then I don't do it. Why is it happening? Because there's a thing, it's called a hurt box, and there's a hit box. So anytime you press a button, your body is going out as well, which means your body is extending out, but your hit frame doesn't hit until a certain amount of time, until your active frames are actually there, if that makes sense. So your hurt box can go like, or your hit box where you can get hit can go out before you, and your hurt box won't be active until the actual finishing startup of your move is done, and then your active frames are there. So again, like I said, if you do this and you wait, you can get that. But if you do this and you press a button, you're getting countered because your hit box is going before you, and your hurt box isn't there until after the startup. And it's literally the exact same, like I'm doing the exact same like buttons, right? Don't press anything, right there. If I press again, hold on one sec, you can get clipped for the exact same thing. So this is what I mean when I say, like, you have to be very careful, not only when you press a button, but where you press a button, because the spacing from you and the player matters. Again, this is a move that's -6, but you're never going to get punished for it because it pushes people back, and you can honestly just like walk back and like make it to where you can do it in someone's face, and you can just walk back, and the best pokes in the game won't reach you, or you can just like dash back as well, like that, and pretty much everything is not going to hit you. So like, this is the highest level of gameplay in the game, and even that little back step right there, if it's just enough to make someone whiff, you can punish. So you have to be able to have this in your arsenal. This is Footsies. This is what Footsies is. But the reason why I'm going over this is because, again, this all plays a big part in like how you actually play your character, because with punishing or abusing your frame data is how you play the game. So I'll kind of go a little bit more in depth on it. So again, this down one here, his is -9, but look at how it's pushing, giving him just enough pushback to where he can't do anything. So now I can basically mash this. Now if I try to mash it, look what happens, right? I'm getting clipped. Right, but if I sit there and I wait, because you have to wait for your recovery to be done, my hitbox is not there, and now I can basically like smartly mash this and punish him. So now I can just do this and then punish him for it. So what does this do? Whenever you're going in a high level format of the game and people realize this and they know what's going on with the frame data and the pushback, and they know like what's good and what's not good, what's going to start happening is people are going to start doing this. And then they're going to start countering you, but instead of doing a down poke, they're going to just start doing, so I'll make him, let's say he did a down poke. They're going to like counter with this instead. Or they're going to counter with a immediate, or something that reaches a little bit further, because whatever. And that opens up again, like I said, the 1-2 block 1-2, right? So like, so as long as you are kind of like doing this stuff, the game's going to kind of automatically work a little bit more in your favor because you realize what's going on. So that alone makes it to where most people can't touch you after you do this. So how do they touch you? They're going to have to either do a special move, or they're going to have to do something that's going to be able to punish you, right? Excuse me. So if they don't have a special move, then this is just kind of like free, and that's not even to mention stuff like this, right? Or stuff like this, right? All these things kind of play a factor. Now again, if you have a cameo that can kind of like, you know, get you out of there, and you can kind of get back in your plus frames like so, it makes it to where you can do that on block and not have to worry about anything, and you can do it on a combo and you still like can get right back to plus frames. Matter of fact, you're starting off with the overhead or whatever. So these are kind of situations where, again, it makes it to where people do not want to press you on the first possible frame. So now let's go ahead and give this little person a little extra time delay. So now you do a poke, or you do a button. Hold on, I'm sorry. Here we go. So now you go ahead and you do something like this, and they're waiting a little bit, right? All right, something like that. Now your pokes come out before them, or you can backspace a little bit more, right? Hold on, sec. There we go. Now you can do something like that, and now you're punishing people because they are doing something that they're not supposed to be doing, right? You can also do this. Now this move that we talked about, which was like kind of like too far advancing, right? Now it's something that you can actually like use to kind of backspace like that. Now again, this is literally one of the best down ones in the game. And you're spacing yourself in a way to where that can whiff, right? So again, you put it like that or something like that, right? Hold on, I hate that. Right? Now you're able to make something like that miss, or something like that miss even more. I'm pressing my RT just to cancel that, and it's still not doing like. I'm gonna have to double tap it, bro. It's so annoying. Anyways, so you can kind of get the picture, right? So like, basically what this means is the better that you get at the game, whenever it comes to this part of the game, you'll be able to legit start punishing people, or just honestly just doing walkbacks, because walkbacks are really good. You can actually do this into like a walkback, or you can do like this into a walkback, this into a walkback, and then just go straight into a punish from there. Or some of them you can just go immediately into it, right? So it's literally like you kind of just like find your piece, and then you work with what you have as a character. So every character kind of has this going for them. You just have to know like what's good and what's not good, and then if your character is like dominant at it or not. This is how you play the game. This is how you get people to stop pressing. This is how you get people to respect you. Having all of these pieces combined and then finding the optimal way to play. I'm not going to go too in depth on it. It's more of just like a proof of concept, so that way the people who don't really know what's going on when they're poking and whatnot, why they're getting punished or whatever, like this is the reason why. So for example, there's another thing that this game has that's very, very important. I'll just go ahead and do it here. So this here is what we like to call what's the word I'm looking for here, kind of like priority, right? I press my button the same time as he does his, and someone's got to take priority, right? Or we're both gonna clash, right? Now if you let their button come out first and then you punish their poke, like as you see, like I did it to him and then he did it to me, you can then start to do something like that. Like that. That's so tough. Why is my stuff like that? Maybe I'm just rusty. I mean, it is. I'm pretty tired. You can do something like that, right? So again, there's like all kind of stuff that you can do when it comes to footsies. Now, if you have like a launcher thing going for you, you can do something like that as well. So let's say you have like you could do something like that, right? And then you can launch someone for their silliness. And it is not really that hard. I guess I'm just really like just tired, but you can. I'll try that one. So yeah, we'll try that one. You can do something like that, right? So yeah, that's basically like Footsies, right? And you're basically using the fact that he's putting his hurt box out there, right? And you're punishing him after he does it. Now his foot is going up, so let me just go ahead and change him to this one, right? Right there. That's what I was looking for. Now again, this is literally one of the best buttons in the game. Raiden's frame rate is god tier, as his pokes are god tier. And he takes, as you can see, he's taking priority. Now, I'm also timing a little bit earlier than him. But he just, it's a very good poke for the reason that he gets it out there, then he throws it back out. But and then you can do your thing there, right? He's coming for them toes, boy. So yeah, you guys get the picture. So this is something that you definitely want to get in your arsenal. It's not really tech, but it's more like just having an understanding that like certain characters have better like buttons than others. Certain characters have really good like whiff punishing buttons. Certain characters like don't have any like good whiff punishing buttons. Certain characters are more of like that, right? So like certain characters just have like that kind of ability to kind of just, you know, just get in there, but some of them don't. So yeah, you kind of just got to find out what your character has, but knowing this stuff is going to make it to where your neutral becomes scary. And if your neutral from Footsies is scary, and then also your pressure while you're doing rush down with your frame data of the stuff that we talked about just right now, you're going to become very deadly, and people are not going to want to fight you. So now let's go ahead and get him to simmer down. And then we'll talk about frame abusing, because we already talked about the fact that, again, people are not just going to stand still at the highest level. They're going to like backdash again. Oh, I forgot to mention. So let's say you have an opponent who does this. Right, they're doing that a lot, right? This is +1, right? So I'll just go ahead and make them do 1, 2, 1, 2. Cool. Hold on. Right, so as you can see, like I can move back. Right. Now, Liu Kang, let me just switch sides, because Liu Kang's back movement is kind of tragic. This is the reason why I don't want to make him anymore. But we'll just go ahead and use Liu Kang as the example. So, so let's say they're doing something like this. You can basically make people whiff now, right? And if you do your movement, if you master your movement, right? Oh, you're right. You're right. I mean, I did it once, but there we go. Anyways. So, like, again, people are not just going to stand still. They're going to, like, kind of try to get in between your frames, or they're going to try to move, or they're going to, like, let's say you do something like this, they're going to try to jump over or something, right? They're going to do something, empty jump, whatever it may be. But again, you're going to find people who are just going to, like, they're going to move. They're not going to sit there and just let you kind of keep pressing. And if you are not a person who does this, you're not playing the game correctly. You have to be able to move forward and back whenever you're doing pressure. So let's say someone is doing that. Well, let me just make sure he's not doing it. Look, I did it preemptively. Hold on, let me just so like hold on, what the heck? There we go. Okay, so like if you don't move forward, right, I'm just gonna make you whiff that, right? So here's what happens. People do this at the highest level. What you just saw right there, people are gonna do that. I didn't even realize. I was like, why is this not working? Hold on. But I didn't realize I was doing it because I just automatically do it myself. But anytime that you realize people might backdash, you remember how I told you that the game is like alive and time and frames are constantly being moved around, and dashing itself costs frames. Literally, like, let me just go ahead and shut him down really quick. But so again, every single one of these presses is a frame, right? You do it as fast as possible. That gives you an idea of like how many frames are like kind of, you know, do it like this. So all of these are frames, right? As you can see, your character's moving extremely fast. So while you're doing backdashes and whatnot, that's all frames. So the reason why you ever seen like Ninja Killer or something like that, let's say he's like rushing somebody down, then he's doing like this, and then he's doing this. You want to know why he's doing that? Is because I'm gonna kind of be a little bit of a geek here, but basically think about it like this. If you're having to backdash to avoid someone's pressure, and they're gonna forward dash because they know you're trying to backdash to avoid that pressure, if you were minus, let's say you were -6 and you backdash and they forward dash, you're still gonna be -6 because you're both sharing the same frame data, you're both dashing the same, so your pressure, your advantage or disadvantage state has not changed because you had to backdash after they could forward dash, if that makes sense. So basically, to make it kind of make sense is like this. So let's say I did 1 2. Hold on. I'll go ahead and do it. What's his plus string? I'll do it off as 2 2. So 2 2 2 2, right? Even though like, right, I can sit here and then, right, I could do something like that, right? Even though I'm still having to backdash, right? So if I'm having to backdash, then like I have to like do something like that, right? So I was able to backdash, but again, if he's reading this, I'm still in the same negative state, right? So again, now let me just go ahead and I'll do it off of reversal. That will make much more sense. So let's just do it off of reversal mode, and we'll go ahead and make it. Let's see, do they have it? I don't think they're gonna let me do it. I'll do it like this, recording with nav, and then reversal, get up reversal, we'll make it a backdash. Hold on, get up reversal. Cool. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and put this back here. Cool. All right, so let's see. Cool. So let's say this move, which does he have a plus frame? Yeah, this is +3. It's like you didn't lose, and if I'm still gonna be able to press my button faster than you, right? Now I know that, you know, blocking, you know, cancels your dodge, but again, that's why you see Ninja Killer doing this, right? Why he's in people face or he's doing like this really quickly is because, again, if as quickly as you can cancel your block, I also can as well. You get what I'm saying? So like, as much as you can backdash is as much as I can go forward, right? And if a character has better movement than you, it automatically makes him a better rushdown character, whether their frame data is good or bad. That's why movement is so important for a character. If your character has bad movement, it's really hard to be effective at the highest level. Because again, if I can rush you down, or if I can move faster than you, or if my dash covers more distance, then your little slow backdash is not going to do anything, because it's going to cost you just as much frames as it's going to cost me to forward dash, but mine moves further and I'm still going to be plus. Or if my back dash move further away, then and yours front dash doesn't move as close, then again it's about space. So if mine moves me further away but I was -6, but your dash is very bad front, in the front, like coming towards me, I can zoom back, and now it's basically like I just reset neutral, But since I know that your dash can't keep up with mine, I can do it twice, and then you really don't have anything to do as far as a button. So you're gonna have to either do a special, or you're gonna have to do something mad unsafe, which opens up me legit just like literally the moment that it's my turn, or the moment that I'm -6, I can just go ahead and actually just press a button right there. Or I can just backdash once and then press a button right there if you think I'm a double backdash. And that opens up a whole nother mind game. And this is why you see pros playing the game completely different than how you see noobs playing the game. Because the pros understand that this is what the game is doing, and it's active, it's live. Like frame data it's constantly going on. It's not just, oh, I press this button, so you gotta respect this. That's not how the game works. So hopefully this is making sense to you guys, because at the end of the day, like, for example, I'll go ahead and do this. This will be even better. So I'll go ahead and what is this? This should be, I think this is, that's +1. Let me do a I'll do this. This is -6. So look at the hands, right? We both just backdash at the same time. You see how mine came out after his, right? He's still +6. Now let's say I did this. Okay, I canceled some of my frames, right? But if he does the same thing, he's still +6, or he's still plus no matter what, right? So then let's say he's like, okay, I gotta dodge forward, so then he dodges forward, I catch him in his dodge. And now this game is not a game where, like, if you dodge, it's considered a counter for some reason. Not in this game, but now it opens up that basically. This is just tech for you to understand how the game works, and this is what I call frame abusing. If you know how to abuse your frames, you're gonna be god tier. Now let's talk about the last and the most important final form of frame abusing, which is let me actually make him do a button here. You should be able to punish here. Oh, I did it too slow. That's tough. Cool. See? No punish still? Dang, I'm trash. Oh, it probably might be doing recording. Hold on. Get up reversal. Oh, there we go. That one was definitely the one. If that ain't it, I don't know what the hell going on. It's probably because I'm... Yeah, it's just, wow, okay. That's very weird then. There we go, that had to be one. If that ain't it, then I don't know what is. There we go. Alright, cool. So now it's set to basically do this at the earliest possible frame, right? So this is a move that's +1. Being +1, if you don't know, like, for example, if I +1, but I time myself later, I'm not +1 anymore. You see that? You have to know the earliest possible frame where your move can come out, or you're never going to be able to abuse even one, like, frame of advantage, right? Now again, when you're online, there's latency, there's like these little delays, inputs get ignored, that kind of thing. But or they just get kind of delayed, and people can kind of like basically like be negative, and then they can move before you can because of how internet works. But for the most part, if you're +1, that means every button, the quickest button that you have, is always going to come out faster than theirs, right? So now, as you can see, right, I'm timing mine bad on purpose, and now even though I'm +1, I can't do anything with it, right? But if I time it at the earliest possible frame, like so, you're going to see that I always get that counter. So this is one of these situations where you have to know what's like. So for example, this is +3, right? And as you can see, this is a very fast button, right? Again, that right there means I timed it too slow, right? So again, that's the earliest possible time, and that's like, this is a little bit of a, let me kind of it's too delayed. Let's delay it right about here. Too late. Maybe right there. There we go. So as you can see, the timing varies, right? And because humans vary, it's important to know where the earliest possible frame for your button to come out on, because if you don't know, then you won't be able to use your pressure. There's no need for it to be +3, because it's not really +3 if you aren't going to put it out at the earliest possible frame, which means a button like this, like that, right, now becomes something that can be used, because since you're +3, you can kind of like, basically you can use your plus frames for movement. You can use it for whiff punishing. And when people start doing this, you become really what I like to call big brain whenever you're using your plus frames for movement, because now it opens up a whole lot more punishing capabilities, right? So like that's really what you want to use plus frames for, or you can use it to dash up, right? So like I can literally like get a free dash up, right? And then like again, I'm not worried about anything because I just basically reset neutral, but I'm able to like close the distance. So if they try to like back dash or whatever, or let's say they thought I was going to do this and they wanted to back dash, then I basically caught up with them, and now I'm plus again, or I'm able to make them in a situation where they're negative with the poke. So using your plus frames for movement is the meta, and you gotta get that in your arsenal. That is tech. It's not really an option select or anything like that, but it's very important to understand like how the game works, using your plus frames for movement. Also using your plus frames to try to whiff punish or to try to bait something out is really, really good. So let's say you sit here and you kind of do that now, so you just kind of keep throwing it out and you just, you know, bing, right? So you could just bing, right? You get what I'm saying? So like that is what plus frames are really for, because this is a game where, for example, let's say this is a perfect example. I'm gonna go ahead and switch really quick and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So boom, and then we're gonna go here, boom, and then we're gonna go here, boom. So now this is plus, and then I'm gonna lead it into that, right? So this is something that's plus, right? Now, if I had a character who had a little bit of a better backdash, matter of fact, let me see if I can try to like backspace this, right? Something like that. His backdash just sucks, man. It really does. It's one of the reasons why I don't like Liu Kang. But basically, you can like if you are always in the process of trying to like press off of your plus frames, a person who has a really good backdash, they can completely negate it. So for example, like I'll just go ahead and switch back because I'll just show Liu Kang as the example here. So let's say Liu Kang, he has this, and then you try to like, you're always trying to press off of your plus frames. They can backdash like you just seen me do, right? You just saw me do it, cancel it with the button, and then move you, right? Or they can simply like do this. Hold on. And then like legit just, so it's not good. It's not a good idea to always just try to press off of your plus frames, right? That's a very newbie way of playing the game, but it is still effective, and you're gonna have to do it somewhat because you're gonna need people to respect your plus frames so they are afraid to move. But movement is the meta of any fighting game. If you can move faster than their frame data, then their frame data does not matter. And push back, and then, you know, distance, all of this determines if you're really negative or not. Like you can be negative 35 from long range. If they don't have anything that can get to you in 35 frames, then it doesn't matter that you're 35. What they're going to do, get maybe 2 dashes and then that's it. So okay, you're still resetting neutral. You'll be able to spam whatever button that is. And if you're negative 30, let's say you're negative 100, but it's a button that you can do up close and it sends you all the way full screen, but it's negative 100. Who gives a freak? No one's going to be able to punish you at 100 frames unless they have like a teleport or something like that. The frame data in this game really does not matter. You don't have to respect it as much as people do. So let's talk about like why frame data is so important. At the same time, why it's not so important. So just kind of getting here. Let me just go ahead and sit him down really quick. There's a thing in this game called frame trap. So we talked about frame abusing, which is basically, again, you gotta press your stuff at the earliest possible frame. The best way to learn how to do this is simply seeing when your character like ducks, and then try to time a poke for that exact specific time. That'll teach you really quickly like what your earliest possible frame is. Let's talk about frame traps. Frame traps is basically whenever you don't really like get anything guaranteed, but if someone does anything in this moment, they get hit anyway. So for example, here's a frame trap. So let's say they try to move after that high. They're gonna get hit with that. Let's say if they try to duck the high and then try to jump over. So that's a tragedy. Hold on. I'm tripping. Right, so let's say they try to duck the high. That's a frame trap, right? Even I can do it a little bit more delayed, like so. It's still a frame trap. Why? Because you can't move. This thing is making you have to be, you know, stationary. You can't do anything while that's going on. Right? So because of that, it makes it to where you have to stay still. Everyone knows what a frame trap is, I feel like, but I still have to go over because that is the point of this video. But if you don't know what a frame trap is, it's basically like, if you press right here, I'm going to hurt you for it. For example, here's another frame trap. Very, very simple stuff. So we'll just go ahead and get him to press right here. Cool. All right, so this is a frame trap. So this button here, hold on, let me see. Okay, cool. Bing bing. Why is he doing a reversal? Hold on. Random attack, that's why. Okay. So this here is a button. It's -6, right? So -6 means you can press right there. But if I do this, that's now something that you can't, like, you know, deal with. But that's not a frame trap because it's just guaranteed. Like he didn't even, he's in enough blocks to where it's not even going to matter, right? Let's say I do this move and I do that. Now it becomes a frame trap because again, this move is what? -7, which means I completely lose my turn. But I'm placing this button in here, right, to kind of frame trap that moment where I'm -7, so that way I'm really not -7. That's basically what a frame trap is. You can do a frame trap up close from very far away. You can do it while you're in the air. There's all kind of stuff that you can do. Frame traps are everywhere. Knowing where your frame traps are and doing them most of all is what's going to make you a good player. So like, pressure is frame traps. Literally, that's what pressure is. It's frame traps. Basically, if I know my 2 is basically +3, if you press anything in between that moment, it's a frame trap. You can't do anything. You're trapped. You cannot press anything. It's gelling you basically. For example, if you had Goro and you do your strings or whatever, and then you gel it into whatever, something that normally would be negative, and you try to press right there and it hits you, that's a frame trap. Anything where they can punish you for pressing a button where you're either in advantage or disadvantage, that is a frame trap. So abuse the heck out of that. Hopefully you guys get what that means. Now there's another thing that I want to talk about. Now this is kind of like got mainstream not too long ago, but whenever it did go mainstream, I'm not even gonna lie, it was cool, but I feel like people don't use it enough, or they just don't know how to use it. But this is one of those things where you definitely are gonna wanna like know how to use this. So let's say you do this, right? You're gonna need to know how to microduck. Microducking is an essential part of the game. And you're gonna need to be able to do it like very, very quick. Hold on. What the? Bruh. There we go. I'm trying to get it like at the earliest possible frame, but it might be because it's 8 frames. There we go. That was the one I was looking for. And at the moment I got it, I didn't even like. There we go. All right, bro. So yeah, microducking is very, very, very good, and you have to like get very, very good at that. Now I'm making it hard on myself because I'm using an 8 frame normal, but if I just did that with like this, it's gonna be much easier. Right? So microducking is a very important part of the game. Like, if you feel like someone's going to throw you, or someone's going to like do like a normal that's going to end in a high, microducking is like very, very good. You can even do it like while you're blocking, right? And again, like I inputted in like that input buffer that we talked about earlier, right? Hold on, let me show you. There we go. Again, I did the little same input buffer that I told you guys about earlier, which means, again, let's say I did the timing wrong, I'm not going to get opened up, but I did it right, so it is what it is, like that. And I'm holding down my RT that whole time that I'm doing my 1-2. So microducking is something that if you use that on top of using the tech that we talked about earlier, like that, as you can see, like that's the one right there. If you use that, then while you're doing microducking, it makes it to where your microducking just becomes like autopiloting, like a lot of people. You can't do it at the highest level, so it's good, but it's like not something that they don't ever need to nerf, and they're probably never going to nerf that, because the highest level, if they know you're doing this, all they're going to do is literally like get in your face and then backdash and then punish you anyway. So it's like they're gonna walk up to you, get you to do this preemptively, and then just backdash and then kill you for it anyway. So it's not something that ever is going to get nerfed. So, but it is good to have in your arsenal, so that way you can beat the lower skilled players. But one thing that you do need to know about microducking is that it is a very essential part of the kit, and doing that allows for you to get the biggest punishes that you're ever going to get in this game. Without microducking or without whiff gameplay, you really don't like get the opportunity to do damage. Like, damage comes from you actually having these fundamentals in the game. So I would highly recommend you sit there and you learn how to microduck. It's really not that hard. Look at my inputs. Basically, you're literally ducking the first hit. So I'll press duck. As you can see, that first high whiff, I'll get closer, and then you press your button. This is a 6 frame high, but anyways, anytime someone basically does a high or a throw, you can basically punish it by doing a microduck like that. You tap down, or you can actually like hold down and then like open your block and then like go like that as well. So like you can like do like this. Hold on. I don't like doing it like this, but you can just hold down and then like press at the right time. But I feel like that's harder. I think actually just like tapping down is much better, because I feel like it's more efficient. It's easier to do. Your brain doesn't have to like wire itself, and it also works with the inputs of the input buffers like that. So I always tap down. But alright, so I mean, it's up to you guys how you want to do it, but there's multiple ways to kind of like do that, but I would do it this way. Anyways, cool. So that's microducking. Let's talk about one of the most important techs that you're probably going to see, and I saved it for last because, well, not for last, but second to last. I saved it. Well, let me do that one last, because that's probably the most important one. Let's talk about like punishing movement with dashes. Now this is not how it was in MK11, because MK11 whenever you tried to dodge, it was considered a counter, so you can like get crushing counter because you dodge or whatever. It's not like that in this game, but it is still effective, because I mean at the same time, like your dodges, like still like there's like a gap where like you can't, like, you know what I mean, you can't move, right? See what I'm saying? There's a gap in between their dodges, even if they're like doing their stuff like as fast as possible, right? Like that. If you know how to time that stuff, you can, like that, if you know how to time that stuff, you can literally punish people for dashing. And this is really important, because it kind of works the same way up close. Like, I mean, it's the same gameplay, except you're up close, but except you're far away. So again, let's just switch the sides here, and then we'll put him on, you know, or like this, and then we'll go ahead and do it like this. Cool. You can punish that, right? Or let's go ahead and wait for the second part now. So where he's, oh, that's a tragedy. That's how tired I am, man. Anyways, you can punish all these dashes with your buttons if you have like a longer range enough button, right? See what I'm saying? So like, if you can read that someone's about to dash, you can stuff that with a button like so, and that allows for you to really kind of make it to where people can't move. This is the reason why Fujin was so good in MK11. It was because he could legit like punish your dash, and so people literally could not move. That is still in this game. You just have to be very, very wise about it because it's not as OP as it was in last MK, but it is still very effective. And that's basically just punishing movement by reading dashes with long range buttons or specials or whatever. I would highly recommend that you get that in your arsenal as well. Let me just go ahead and sit him down really quick. Now let's talk about the last thing. Honestly, the most important thing. I'm actually just switch over again for this one. This is the most important thing that you're probably ever going to learn from me. So this is what I'd like to just call it basically like duck tech, but basically what it is see how he's whiffing, right? He's whiffing because like if you space these things right, you make it to where people like can't hit you, right? Now Liu Kang is one that's kind of let's get someone who has a better, you know, a better whatchamacallit. And if you didn't know, the reason why, we'll just go ahead and use Raiden because Raiden has a good one. The reason why a lot of people use their down 3, down 4, whatever to do aerials is because they oftentimes have the longest range and they oftentimes like just have like the best hit boxes or hurt boxes. Most people don't do this because this is going to get you in trouble, but I'll just go ahead and show you it like both of them. So I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So we'll do one like this. Boing. We'll do that. Hold on, let me make that quicker. Boing. Cool. And then we'll do another one here. It'll be. That's a little bit too late. Cool. There we go. And then we're gonna go ahead and just put both of those on repeat or whatever. Right in the middle. So here's the tech. Here's how it works. So whenever you are kind of in the air, or whenever they're in the air, all you have to do is really just tap block. Really, you just have to tap block because, I mean, it's already kind of happening a little bit right now, but I'm not trying to make it happen every time consistently. But if you notice that sometimes these things are whiff because of the way that like the game like handles cross ups, right? So if you sit there and you move to where the cross up is actually going and you duck, you can make it to where these kind of always whiff, like so. Now it's one of these things where you're gonna have to really get a feel for it, but the more you get used to this, the better you're going to get at like doing it, and it literally becomes like free punishes at that point. So let me see if I can get like, let me see if I can kind of like lock in. Let me see if I can lock in. And a tip that I'll tell you for is move to where the cross up is going, but like try to stay underneath them. But basically, like if you know a cross up is going that way, try to move into it if possible, and then do the crouch. And let's see if I can get it right here. You should never get like opened up by this, because you could get again use the input buffer thing that we talked about there, right there, right, like that. Like that's what I was looking for. So that's what you're looking for, right? That was an absolute tragedy. That was absolute tragedy too. There we go. There we go. Now this is basically just how it looks, right? But here's how you actually make it to where it's effective. So like right there, whenever they do that and they're whiffing, that's pretty much what that is. You can actually just take your turn back and then actually like just punish them. So like that. So this is the hardest tech for me to learn personally, because I feel like it's one of those things where it's kind of dependent on the character that you're going against, and depending on like it's very hard to read sometimes like exactly how their jump is going to go when they're going to do it. But the way that it works is basically if you're always underneath, literally if you're always underneath, right, like that, if you're underneath and you duck, it makes it to where it becomes harder for them to hit you. Now you can't be too underneath, but just enough to where it's like, you know, now you can just again tap block so that way you get the flawless, but like don't worry too much about that. It's more about just getting underneath and then like trying to duck a little bit before then, like that, right? And if you can get that duck like kind of in there, it'll make it to where a lot of this stuff just whiffs, and you kind of just like do it last second, like the up block, like that. There we go. Like there we go. Now we're getting it. There we go. And the better you get at that, and then again putting in the your punish basically, or your counter thing for that, the more the better you're going to get at actually like just making like a lot of jump ins just non-existent. It's basically like a free anti-air at that point. And I basically just call that, you know, you just unblock duck for whiff jump ins. Again, the tips that I have for you is like try to get underneath them, move to the cross up side. So if they're trying to cross up, move to the side that you know they're trying to cross up, duck, hold the duck down until the last second where the jump in could come through. Just be careful because they can delay their, you know, their timing to where they can do it earlier or later. And if they do it later, it doesn't matter, but if they do it earlier, you will get caught. So just kind of be mindful of that. But that is very important because again, if people can't jump in and you're literally punishing them, you're getting counter punishes for that, like that, then that becomes a problem. Hold on, I'll show you why. Yeah, let's see here. So like I'm trying to get like that, right? Hold on, let's see. I'm gonna need some bars. I've never actually like done this, but I'm just showing you guys that you can do this. Let's see if I can get one like that, right? You could do something like that, right? And then you can actually like get like a whole bunch of combo damage from it. So this is like a very, very like free and easy way to kind of just, you know, do what you want to do. Let's see here. Whatever. So like again, just kind of just knowing that you have this option to just do that and then get a punish for it is like, that makes like jumping in on a lot of people like very, very like, I'm not going to say scary, but just enough to where you got to respect, you know, at least, you know, expect their drip, you know what I mean? Like you got to respect what they're doing. But again, the better you kind of get at that, you can literally like do that and then like legit like just punish people. I'm choking right now. It's not even funny. Anyways, pause. Hold on. You can buy that, buddy. But yeah. Also, if you didn't know about the whole Upblock thing, not the Upblock thing, the basically the way that this works is if you basically you uppercut and then you press up and RT at the same time, it allows for you to basically do like a crushing blow thing, and you can kind of get like a little combo launcher from it. It's cool, but I don't know anyone who's going to use it. But I mean, it was cool for the thought that they added in there, you know. But I don't really know anyone. I don't even know any combos off of it. Like it's too expensive, honestly. But yeah, that is something that you can do. But I would honestly just do that and counter that way, and then go straight into your buttons there. So that's pretty much like part one of the tech guide. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, I am so tired. I honestly have so much more that I would like to talk about tech wise with this game, but hopefully you guys did enjoy that bit of tech, and hopefully it does make you a better player. Hopefully you have a little bit more understanding of what goes on in the neutral with this game. There's a lot much more for me to talk about. I felt like I was kind of also explaining just like how the game works, and not necessarily just tech in some ways, but hopefully it was very educational for you guys. I am going to start making some guides for some characters, but before I started making some guides for some characters, I wanted to first get out at least part one of the tech guide, so that way you guys kind of have an idea or a base foundation, so that way whenever you watch the rest of my guides, you kind of like are able to follow along with what I'm saying or what I'm trying to do, or what I'm showing, like what makes a character good and whatnot. Because everything that I'm saying in this video is kind of like the foundation of playing a fighting game, and this is just part one. There's so much more that goes into it, but hopefully you guys did enjoy all of that information. Hopefully you can kind of take it in and make it your own and become a better fighter because of it. So thank you guys for watching this video. It's MK1 Zuko, and we out. Deuces.